Welcome to Tailboard Talk, a fourth shift fitcast. The mission of Tailboard Talk and the fourth shift fitness is to educate and train fire service personnel to increase durability and decrease the potential for injuries and their associated costs. My name is Chris Morella, owner and founder of Fourth Shift Fitness. I'll use my experience as a personal trainer, strength coach, and 15-year veteran of the fire service to deliver tips, tricks, lessons, and information specifically geared towards the health and wellness of firefighters and paramedics. Each episode, you'll leave with immediate deliverables that will improve performance and resilience and keep you in the fight through your career and into retirement. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome to Tailboard Talk. It's Chris and Curt here, and quick episode today. Well, probably, I don't know. We're going to talk about stuff, like getting stuff for your crew and getting stuff if you're shopping for a first responder. And it's going to be last minute stuff because this is coming out on Wednesday and Christmas is less than a week away from Wednesday, 3 or 4 days or something like that. So we're just going to run through stuff. We're going to run through kind of like gifts we got and what we're planning on buying possibly this year or stuff we've got in the past, because I've seen that be like a point of contention between crews of some people get stuff and some people don't. And it's always awkward when 2 out of the 6 or 3 out of the 6 don't get something or don't bring in stuff for people. And then you get to make fun of them for the rest of the day. But I guess we just should start it off by like, think back, Curt, on your 27 years in the fire service. And what was the most memorable gift you got from a crewmate? Appropriate gift you got from a crewmate?
In the last 17 years, I have a duffel bag that a previous lieutenant gave me that I use every shift day. It's got a bunch of pockets in it, so hand warmers are in it. All the stuff for COVID is in it right now. I got like winter hat in there. I keep my utility glove, a backup pair of utility gloves in there. There's a backup knife in there. But it's just one of the things that goes with me everywhere now. So it's kind of my catch-all bag for anything that I don't put in my pockets or but comes with me, wherever I'm at.
That's a good one. I was thinking, I got a lot of gift cards over the years and stuff. I'm struggling to think of like one like actual gift that I've like held on to.
The only other gift that I still have the knife that you gave me from your wedding. Except it's not at work though. It opens
still sharp though.
Opens our Amazon packages at home. It gets used pretty regularly.
Beautiful. Well, and that's a good one too. Like knives are a cool one. So what do you usually buy for crews? Because I have a pretty specific lane I stay in with buying stuff.
I'm usually gift cards.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
It's way easier. It's way easier.
Yeah. Gift cards are usually my go-to.
I do. I go over. Here's what I do. Go way too far. It's my normal routine. Go way too far, scale it back, run out of time. I go to Home Depot or Menards and look for dollar stuff. Yep. So that's how I'm like, I'll get this guy this thing because he likes this.
That counts though. So
yeah, well, kind of, because like last year I got everyone those big 2-inch spring clamps. Mm-hmm. Super useful gift, but they're like $1, right?
Right. Not when you bought them. They were $10 each when you bought them. So.
Well, I had to say that because other guys got like these big elaborate travel mugs and stuff and like $20 gift cards and everything. I was like, oh, here's your clamp. I forgot the other ones at home. Your other like $30 worth of your present at home. You'll get it never because I didn't get you anything. But dude, I'm big on tools. So like just that throwaway stuff because there's no use carrying real expensive stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
On shift, even like watches and glasses and stuff like that. There's guys that wear expensive stuff. And I don't get it.
I never got the nice watches. It's just too much things to go wrong with it. You know?
Yeah. Like I wore like a Casio for a long time because it was just like rubber and durable and throwawayable. And now I have a different one that was no more than $30 or $40 because
I had a nice Velcro one for a bit, and then I realized that the Velcro was probably pretty gross to keep there. So
that's the worst possible.
Yeah, so I switched to a rubber one. I don't wear one anymore, but
Velcro one, second to none on comfort.
Yeah,
but when you're sweaty, you don't know what is wet on you.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah, I've gone through a couple watches, knives. I used to buy flashlights because now you can go on Amazon and get like a 10-pack of pretty decent flashlights that are like pocket size for $10 or whatever.
Those are poop flashlights now for taking the dog out.
Yeah.
I got like a 5-pack of. Always go out when there's poop that needs to be made.
What else? Those bags, the Mickey bags. So we work with a guy that always buys the 10-inch or whatever 12-inch tool bags. Right? There's a Craftsman bag with like the structured zipper opening, so it opens into a rectangle. And his thing is that he'll iron on the initials of whoever he's working with and give that to everybody. So there's like a string. You can tell whoever worked with this guy because there's probably 50 people in the department that have Mickey bags because his name's Mickey. And I still use mine. The letters fell off and it's got like holes in it, but
I worked with Mickey and I don't have one.
That's too bad. I gave Mickey a Mickey bag one time. Probably threw it away. I'm sure it didn't live up to his standards.
Probably regifted it.
Yeah. To another Vaughn. What's some of the, like, can you think of any you had to accept and you're like, oh, this is not it?
No, I don't think anyone's given me anything that I didn't appreciate or couldn't use.
Yeah.
Travel mugs do happen. That you bring that up, and I've had some people give me some really nice ones that we still have. And there's some clunkers that don't make it. Probably don't make it home. I think most of the time, but to be honest, I can't think of a ton of actual times where the crews have all exchanged gifts, at least memorable ones. Like I said, the duffel bag was, and I remember one other lieutenant that would give gift cards, but maybe guys just don't like me, and so they all exchanged gifts on my Kelly day.
Well, you brought up a good point too that we were talking about of like, first of all, the crews have turned over, but both of us float around so much that it's hard to be. You might not see your crew for like 2 months at a time,
right?
And then when you do go back to your station, it's not your crew. It's maybe one out of 5 are there.
That's what happened yesterday. So, we went back and three of the 5 of us were there, but just
it's got me out of a lot of like anniversary meals and stuff too. Though.
Right.
You're like, well, I'll buy when everybody's here at the same time.
Yeah.
They're still waiting on my 1-year lieutenant anniversary. They brought up yesterday. I was like, hey, anytime you're ready, just not today because someone's always here.
Everyone's here.
Yeah.
Dave's not here.
There was one, I remember hearing about one that directly involved LGN, and the intention was great, but someone bought personal training sessions for their crew or something like that, right?
He tried to, and that went over kind of how you'd expect it. The crew was not a go out and train type of crew at the time.
Yeah.
And so I think he thought it might have been like here's, the hook to get you in, and that didn't go over well.
But that's tough.
Forgot about that one.
He bought them for in here though, right?
Yeah.
Like they had to come from wherever and go to come to LGN and then train, which is tough.
He didn't buy them actually. I talked him out of it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew that wasn't going to be a.
And that's too bad because like the thought's there. Like it's a good thought, and he means well.
The problem is, in that one too, it's like you give someone a personal training session and they're like, oh, cool, I get a workout. And then you tell that person, okay, well, it's $60 a session after that. And it's like,
it's like buying, it's like the Oprah thing where she bought everybody cars and they're like, I can't afford the insurance on this thing.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this? Yeah. So that was a good intention one.
It was.
Didn't work out quite well, but I could see that working for a specific crew or like, that's one thing I kind of toyed around with pricing is like doing crew pricing through the remote stuff, like if you're going to get 3 to 5 people to do it, then I can make one program for the 3 to 5 of you and offer minimal adjustments and then put a specific crew rate to that. But I could see that working, but going to a facility is a tough sell.
Yeah, it is.
Having to get everybody together.
Especially with us in residencies, one guy lives 40 minutes away, the other guy lives, 40 minutes the other way. It's just hard to.
And the other guy's always working overtime and won't go anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think now. I remember going to the dollar store a lot, dude. So I had a couple of flops. Like I went to the dollar store because where I used to work, the one lieutenant was like, if you're working on Christmas, I am too, because he always picked up a Christmas shift and or traded to be working on Christmas because he didn't mind doing it. He's like, you always get a gift if you're working on Christmas. He's like, and it was a part-time department, so it was just transient by nature. And so after that, I was like, oh, this was cool. Like I worked a couple of years with this guy, and it would be like a $2 fleece blanket or something like that,
Yeah.
or something goofy. I was like, I'll bring that when I got hired here. So I went to the dollar store for a couple of years, and I remember one time it was like, it was goofy stuff. It was like Hannah Montana frame, and like I got a big blow up Batman punching bag thing, and I was at Station 6, so I had like some other guys there, like, pick your gift, and like these real serious guys, but we blew up the Batman punching bag and put like District 6 on it or something, and then another time I remember I was going to do my shift on Christmas Eve and then go cover for like 6 hours on Christmas Day. And I went to the dollar store and I was like, I'll get everybody these big beer mugs or something like that, because they're enormous things for $1,
Mm-hmm.
And so I walk in and I put them all on the table. And I'm like, these are for everyone working today, and there's some other trinkety garbage over there, because everybody gets a gift on Christmas. And one of the guys who showed up had recently been in treatment for alcohol abuse. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. He's like, what?
Water mug.
He's like, what? I can't drink soda out of it. I'm like, yeah, you can, but we all know what it is, man. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And he was cool about it, but I didn't look at the schedule for the next day, and get my head out of my ass and like look at it. I was like, oh God, dude, I'm so sorry. And it was fine. Yeah. But I didn't feel fine. I think I had like 2 or 3 years on. I felt like a real jerk. And, but he took it and accepted it and was gracious. And I was like, please don't smack me in the face with this thing,
Clunk.
So a couple misses. What advice would you give to people like buying for crews and stuff, like price wise or just in general?
Like fire department member buying for fire department member?
Yeah, because we have a lot of new guys coming on.
Yeah.
And they can get abused. Like, we made that poor guy go get fritters the other morning.
Yeah. No, he didn't get abused yet. He needs to earn his job. Yeah. I think if you're in the $20 to $30 range per person, I think that's pretty generous. At that point.
I think it's very generous.
Yeah. I don't think you need to be more than that. But yeah, that's probably what I'd say is a good price point to be at.
I always tried to keep it less than $10 when I was junior and buying for everybody else, because you're going to buy, depending on who you work with, you're buying up to 8 things.
Yeah.
So I always tried to keep it like $5 or $10 per guy, just to be like, here's something. And that would be like the screwdriver and flashlight days. Yeah. Or something like a little pry bar day or something like that. Yeah. Where it was like $6, $7. Yeah, I think that's a good one. And then what do you expect? So like I'm entering a new thing here of being an officer, buying for crews, which I feel like carries a bigger price tag on it.
I think it carries more responsibility, to
actually do it.
I feel like coming down is more expected than going up. Yeah, I think I kind of maybe that's just the way it's been at the stations that I've been at. But
I think so.
I don't know that it necessarily needs to be more, though. I think that I just think it's more expected than anything.
Well, I have an idea for mine, and I'm not sure. I think they'll like it, but
caramel apples.
The hard red candy ones. Yeah. Yeah. The biggest bummer of any kind of candied fruit. Dude, we had a discussion. We were talking yesterday about food and stuff. And I was saying how last day in the morning when they confused what new guy brought in the donuts. And I'm like, this is going to be a huge deal. Like, this is not good. Yeah. We're going to have to write this guy up. I'm like, Kurt's going to lose his mind.
I was prepared to.
So... well, I'll tell the story. It goes into a funny story about you, but so we have a lot of new guys where we work. Someone said that by like spring, a third of the department is going to have less than 5 years.
I bet you, we'll have 35 to 40 people under 5 years.
Jeez, man. So I did that. So I did like the quick.
We have 14 in January. We'll have 14 on probation. Yeah. So that's under 1 year, So. Yeah.
So we had two new guys starting like today and tomorrow, and then this one new guy he brought in these apple fritters a shift day before.
First he brought cinnamon rolls in before that.
Oh my God.
Then he followed up with apple fritters.
From this crazy bakery on his way in. And then
a dozen apple fritters.
A dozen, yeah. 2 of them were left over yesterday, by the way.
Pathetic.
Yeah. So then I was working with Curt, and the guy was there, and Curt was talking about these apple fritters, and the guy's like, oh, I'm coming back tomorrow. I'll stop on the way in and get these apple fritters. They're so amazing. So he leaves at whatever time in the afternoon. We work through the night, and I wake up, and there's a box of donuts on the table. And I was like, who brought this box of donuts in? And the guys were like, that new guy brought them in. I'm like, what new guy brought these in? And it was like 6:05 in the morning. And that guy wasn't supposed to be here till 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he said he's going to get like 6:30, 6:40. And I'm like, what new guy? And they're like, the guy we're talking to yesterday. I'm like, first of all, he's early. And he brought the wrong thing. So if you're going to be early, that means you had time to stop and get the right thing. So I go out, and I'm going across to the office, and I come back, and there's a different new guy checking the rig. And so I said, did you bring in these donuts? And he's like, yeah, I brought them in, and I got them handpicked. And I said, well, before that, I said, Curt's going to lose his mind. Because and there was 2 other guys in the kitchen. I said, who
First
brought
of all,
these?
they were not handpicked, but
They were. He insists they were. It did not look like a handpicked assortment.
he may have said no sprinkles, but they definitely were not handpicked.
I agree with you.
Powdered filled doesn't come in as a handpicked.
No.
That's a
So first I'm like, Curt's going to blow. He's going to lose his mind when he sees these donuts, and he's expecting apple fritters. Turns out it was a different new guy that came in early, brought the donuts in. Take it easy, brothers. Take it easy, brothers. And then the new guy showed up with the apple fritters.
Mm-hmm.
The day was saved.
It was.
But it was, I
was
had
angrily eating my chocolate donut.
That was the worst part. We both ate a donut.
Getting ready to yell at him about it not tasting like an apple fritter.
We both ate a donut out of spite.
And so the next level of that is that the place he brought, the place that those donuts came from, have very good fritters. And I'm like, why would you not have just asked if you knew I wanted a fritter and you couldn't go to the fritter place?
This guy almost walked into
he
a wood chipper.
Yeah, it was. He was going to get yelled at.
Case of mistaken identity. Mm-hmm. That led to a conversation about when another new guy, when you came down on him for just walking in saying, gave me a dozen assorted, right? Yeah. And then he picked what his lieutenant wanted for donuts, which is a very specific order.
This was a good story. I like this story.
You could tell this story then.
So we have a lieutenant who likes Child's donuts. His favorite. Well, his second favorite is pink, like strawberry frosting with sprinkles on it, and his favorite is vanilla Long John. Well, I told this new guy, I'm like, hey, just so you know, you're a lieutenant. These are his 2 favorite donuts. And the guy, I was like, I'm serious. I know these sound like kids' donuts.
I know you can't believe it.
Yeah, but this is what he likes. And so he forgot about the Long John and would bring in strawberry donuts. Well, eventually his lieutenant's like, yeah, but like, you know, my favorite is a vanilla Long John. And so the next...
Such a weird conversation to have, first of all. Like, you're going to make a point of this and expose yourself.
Right. So then the next day he brings in a vanilla Long John. So I ate it before his officer came in.
Yeah.
And so the day after that, you were there, and he brought in 2 vanilla Long Johns, so we both ate them and then left a note for his officer. And so then the next day, the new guy brought in 4 vanilla Long Johns.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, check.
Might be a little bit
not going to be able to make this one work.
If I had till 9:30, these would all be gone.
Yep.
But I have 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. I tell that one a lot. That's a good one.
So they were saying, like, I'm like, oh yeah, Curt has very specific tastes when it comes to food. He's like, oh, is he a foodie? I'm like, no, he's not a foodie at all. I said, but Curt's the kind of guy that he has vivid details of the type of tater tot in kindergarten compared to the fries.
Yep.
And then so that turned into like another guy saying like, oh, my daughter is totally into baking. Does Curt go so far as to look at the crumb structure? The crumb structure of the bread said, no. He does not look at the crumb structure. He's
my wife loves crumb structure.
He's a very binary yes or no, and that's the law from then on.
Yep.
But no, he's not a foodie in the fact that he's dissecting the crumb structure.
Donuts, you just got to have some care for your people, you know?
Oh, I went into the whole thing. I told you when that guy brought in that box, and then the guy was like, oh, these are handpicked. I'm like, well, let me tell you the difference between a cake donut and a home-cut donut, and also a throwaway puff pastry, garbage Dunkin' Donut style donut. Mm-hmm. And he sat there and listened to me for a good 5 or 6 minutes.
Had to.
as I outlined exactly the specific differences and what you can expect.
I wonder what people think about us after that. Like, you've gotten this job and like someone's going to lecture you on donuts, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine being like 23 or 24 and like a decent guy and
probably came from another job.
Yeah, you know, and you 2 40-year-old jerks are like, hey, what kind of donuts are these, you know? You're like, those 2 walk away and you're like, what is this fucking guy, you know?
This guy's making six figures in an office job and wants to be a firefighter. And we're like, hey, let's get to what really matters here.
Right.
Did you pass the academy? Cool. Did they teach you about donuts? No. God, dude. God, I led to another story too, but I can't remember what it was. It was about food and something stupid. I don't think it was about donuts, but we were laughing so hard. Yeah, I was like, yeah, Kurt's told me stories about his kindergarten tater tots. Oh, on the topic of food, I've watched that LA Beast video no more than 3 times.
That's phenomenal.
I've sent it to about 6 or 7 people, and we watched it yesterday with me.
Yeah.
Against it from the start.
Really?
I'm not watching your stupid videos. You're not gonna be one of these guys that hijacks the TV.
Yeah.
And makes everybody watch your dumb videos that nobody cares about. And so I stayed on him all afternoon, and then I was like, just look it up on your phone because he casts stuff constantly. And I was like, I'll figure it out. And so they're watching football, and all of a sudden the screen went blank, and that pops the LA Beast guy, right? And he's like, "This is so dumb." I fast forwarded through the intro.
Yeah.
I'm like, you'll get the idea.
Right.
Within 30 seconds, he had like his eyes covered, laughing, like rocking back and forth.
Every
I
time
was freaking out. Dad was like dying.
Yeah, I cry every time I watch it, and which is funny because it took you like a month for me sending it to you and telling you numerous times that you need to watch this.
It just wasn't on the radar.
Yeah.
And it's 8 minutes.
Yep.
It's a big investment. I just didn't have that. But when you sat me down and watched it at work the other day, I said that's the hardest I've laughed since like the original Jackass came out.
For sure. It was.
And then we sent it to like Hart, who started gagging.
Of course.
Through text, right? And then sent it to he's like, "Oh, you've been talking to Chop." He's like, "No, actually it came through Chop through Curt through Chris like, to get here."
Yep.
Sent it to Joe, sent it to some other friends, and it gets the same reaction every time. We stopped watching halfway through.
Yeah.
She got up and walked away. I gave her my computer and at Mega Table, and I gave her the computer to face her, and we were laughing from across the room as if we were watching it, and she turned it off halfway through and like walked away embarrassed. I got a picture of her. Her face is red, like a tomato. She's covering up her mouth watching it. Yeah, dude.
So look up LA Beast
hot
dog challenge.
Oh, God. And I feel bad.
That's our Christmas present to you.
Yeah, you know what? That is a good I actually sent it to someone as a birthday present.
Yeah.
I said, happy birthday.
8 minutes of laughter. What more can I give you?
Yeah, I said, I have 2 things to share with you. They're both on YouTube. And I said, depends on how old you actually are and how old you want to be. And one was the LA Beast, and one was the scammer payback thing. I was like, this is the gift.
Yep.
This is better than anything I could actually ever get you. All right, man. Good episode. Covered a lot of good ground there.
If you're buying for your first responder, things that like new bedding is always welcome. You know, like flannel sheets or a new pillow. Probably, I'm sure your significant other probably has a yellowish one right now by this point. Work gloves are always appreciated. You know, it's like I have the same pair of like crummy ones that I would get rid of if someone gave me a new pair. But
if
I'll
only
probably
somebody
go get a new pair now. But if only somebody out there knew.
Well, Ben knows she doesn't listen to this.
No,
so.
she doesn't.
So sorry.
Yeah.
It's like you're sticking with your same gloves, pal. Did we talk about booze in this one already? I can't remember.
I don't think we did. Well, we just talked about you buying the Stein for the...
That's a whoopsie. So booze is an easy one. And I've gotten that a lot of times. But I will say that I've gotten away from giving booze because there's enough of it. And let the people buy their own booze if they really want it. But booze is something I think can slowly and surely be phased out of the norm of fire service gifts. And I don't think that's a huge detriment to get rid of it. Then you get people like you where it'd be totally wasted anyways. Because
the thing is it's like if you're going to give someone a booze who appreciates it, they probably have something that they appreciate, and then you risk getting them something that's subpar, you know, or they're not going to appreciate. And then if you're getting it for like me, it's like, you know, maybe we have a margarita a week or something like that at most. You know, it's like you're missing the mark on that one too. You know, so it's just, I think it's tough with each person's individual thing to know what each person wants and will be appreciated, and also not a contributor to something worse, you know?
Well, and we had a guy that would bring in, he would buy one thing. So if there were 6 people in the crew, he'd buy 6 giant different things. And he'd call you out by seniority and be like, pick your booze. And it was great, but then you got stuck with a 2-gallon thing of Baileys or whatever, or like another bottle of Jack Daniels with 2 creme amber shot glasses.
Yeah.
So the thought was there, and that's what he knew how to do, and it was great because he was a great guy. But you can't say no to this gallon of vodka that you'll never drink, you know, that you don't want.
Right.
And I don't know. It's a nice sentiment, but there's other things that you can give with the same sentiment without booze.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. All right, guys. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll link everything in the show notes and also in the social media posts where you can get at us. Talk to you soon and be a 4 shifter.